supported that process. So we are very grateful to American support of this process of the transformation and socio-political economic transformation. But the real breakthrough in Polish-American relations happened only after 1989. After 1989, when this transformation started in Poland. You know, we are now allies. Since Poland joined NATO in 1999, Poland and the United States are allies. We share the same common values. We almost perceive identically the threats and challenges to our countries around the world. Polish soldiers are fighting along with American soldiers in Afghanistan, in Iraq. They take active position in many peace missions of the United Nations. And Poland, having good relations with the United States and having good relations with the European Union, could be very helpful in overcoming all difficulties in transatlantic relations. I think that the very fact that we are a credible ally of the United States and credible member of the European Union, Polish diplomacy could contribute to reduce the differences, which there are many of them, in transatlantic relations, to bring the boats, shores of the Atlantic Ocean closer in cooperations. And we in Poland perceive the transatlantic relations, United States and Europe, as two regions being interdependent from each other. And the essence of this interdependence is following. Europe cannot defend itself without American aid, help, and the United States is not able to solve many international problems and conflicts without help of Europe. So this is the essence of the mutual interdependence. United States is a very dynamic country. Europe has historical experience in politics. So this combination of those factors could be very important factor stabilizing the world. Because we need this stability of the world. We cannot afford to see the world drifting in an uncontrolled way. And, you know, if you take into consideration the effect, the historical significance of the changes which started, as I said, in Poland when Solidarity was born, the transformation which subsequently happened, and these changes, you know, embrace vast area from Gdansk on the Baltic Sea, which was my election district, to Vladivostok on the Pacific, where Professor Smith is going to visit. So I understand this vast area. Thanks to these changes, which embrace such a vast area, we can say today that we have new world, that we have new Europe, but unfortunately, we do not have new European or new world order. And we need very badly to establish new world order. And as you know from your historical classes, I'm talking to the young people now, you know, the new world order were always a result of major wars and conflict. After the 30 years of war, the peace in 1648, the Westphalian peace established the world order, European order, based on the balance of power. After the Napoleonic Wars, the victorious powers gathered in Vienna in 1815 and established the Vienna International Order. After World War I, again the victorious powers gathered in Versailles and established the order which the historians call the Versailles International Order, which was disrupted by Hitler starting World War II. And again after World War II, the victorious powers gathered in Yalta in 1945, they gathered in Potsdam, and they established the order which dominated European politics for 45 years, which the historians call the Yalta-Potsdam International Order. So if my view is correct that the international orders are a result of major wars and conflicts, when the Cold War ended, we actually need new international order, but we don't have. We don't have. Because Cold War was, in a way, a total war, in the sense that it was waged in every corner of the world, and it affected every aspect of international life. Even sport was not immune from Cold War rivalry. If you remember the boycott of Moscow Olympics 1980 by the West, which the East reciprocated with the boycott of Los Angeles Olympic Games in 1984. So if my contention, my thesis is right that after the war should be followed the new international order, after the end of Cold War we should have international order, but we don't have. And now we are waiting who, if the question arises, who is intellectually or politically capable to undertake such an ambitious task like creation of the new international order. Maybe here in this room is somebody who will take this ambitious task and initiate politically and intellectually new order. And I'm looking, the clock goes very fast here, I think. But let me, in closing, I promise I'll not speak more than 30 or 35 minutes. This is our arrangement. Let me say, are there any issues today in Polish-American relations? Yes, there are. 4 or 5 I'll just mention to you. Polish-American relations. First of all, there is a tremendous asymmetry between political contacts on a very high level, presidents, prime minister, ministers, and so on, parliamentary contact between Poland and the United States, and inadequate, and here I'm looking deeply into eyes of Professor Kuhlman, and inadequate trade relations, trade contacts between Poland and the United States. Could you imagine the total value of trade, 2007, between Poland and the United States was around $5 billion US. And with 10 million Belgium, with 16 million Netherlands, we have more trade than with 300 million United States, which is also the #1, the largest economy in the world. So there is tremendous asymmetry between the very good and active high-level political contact and the low level of economic cooperation. And the United States is, could you imagine, is number 11 trade partner of Poland. Number 11. The largest economy in the world is only number 11 partner. Your businessmen are too lazy. Simply, and probably Polish businessmen also are too lazy. They prefer to trade with Belgium and Netherlands rather than to go through ocean, you know, to the United States. And the United States is the 4th largest investor. But in the trade, as a trade partner, in terms of volume of trade, it's only 11th. But it's still better than it was, because 2 years ago it was number 18. Now move up during the last 2 years to the 11th. Secondly, second issue, I think, is asymmetry in the cultural exchange. We are flooded by American culture. You know, if you look at the program in the newspaper, Polish movie house, Polish television program, you could see all kinds of American films. You know, I don't watch them because always I see the Los Angeles police story, or, you know, all kinds of things, you know, very cheap films, you know, not the best culture. For instance, I think the same thing is applies to South Carolina. I was impressed, to tell you frankly, by the local culture in North Carolina when I'm teaching in Appalachian State University. When I saw the exhibitions of the local craftsmanship, you know, jewelry, sculptures, paintings, you know, fantastic. And this is unknown. And I believe that the same thing is here in South Carolina. And this is unknown in Europe. We receive mostly the Hollywood culture, you know, in Europe, rather than the real, you know, really beautiful things which are done, very creative things on the local level. And the Polish culture is absent in the United States. And there's very good Polish music, Polish film. We have several Nobel Prize winners in the literature and so on. And this is very ethnocentric country in terms of culture.